She told her friends she wanted a good man, loyal, kind, emotionally available. Then he showed up, and 3 weeks later, she was cold, distant, and pulling away. You've seen it. Maybe you've lived it. You did everything right. You texted back fast. You planned the dates. You never raised your voice, never played games, never gave her a reason to doubt you. And somehow, that was the problem. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Being good is not the same as being valuable. And if you don't understand the difference, you will keep losing women who swore they wanted exactly what you were offering. So what actually makes a woman lose interest in a good man, and what is reason number 5, the one almost nobody talks about, quietly destroying more relationships than the other 4 combined? If you're watching this, I already know something about you. You're not a bad guy. You're not manipulative. You're not cruel. You're not the man your ex's friends warned her about. You're the guy who shows up. You're the guy who remembers what she said 3 conversations ago. You're the guy who would drop what he's doing if she needed you. And that's exactly why this hurts so much. Because you did the right things, and it still fell apart. Or maybe it hasn't fallen apart yet. Maybe you're watching this at 11 p.m. because you feel her pulling away and you don't know why, and the not knowing is worse than anything. Let me validate something before we go further. Your confusion is legitimate. You were taught by movies, by well-meaning parents, by every just be yourself cliché, that kindness and consistency are the currency of love. Nobody taught you that attraction runs on a completely different operating system than friendship does. Nobody taught you that a woman's stated preference and her felt experience can be 2 entirely separate things, and that both can be true at once without her lying to you or to herself. That's not a flaw in her. That's not a flaw in you. That's psychology. And once you understand it, you stop taking this personally and start seeing it clearly. Here's my promise to you for the next 20 minutes. I'm going to walk you through 5 real, research-backed reasons why women disengage from good men, not surface-level dating advice, but the actual psychological mechanisms underneath it. By the end, you won't just understand what's been happening in your past relationships. You'll recognize it happening in real time, before it costs you someone you care about. And I want to plant 2 things in your mind right now, because we're coming back to them. First, there is a specific moment, a single conversation, usually within the first month, where a woman decides, often unconsciously, whether you are someone she chases or someone she manages. I'm going to show you exactly what that moment looks like, and how most good men fail it without realizing. Second, reason number 5 is not about confidence, and it's not about boundaries. It's about something almost every self-improvement guy has completely backwards, and once you hear it, you're going to think back on your last relationship and see it everywhere. I'm not here to tell you to become a different person. I'm here to tell you the truth about how attraction actually functions in the female brain, the parts shaped by millions of years of evolutionary psychology, not by what she posts on Instagram about wanting a good man. Because here's what almost nobody explains. Wanting a good man and being attracted to a good man are processed in different parts of her psychology. One is her values talking. The other is something older, something she doesn't fully control, and something you need to understand if you want both at once. Let's start with the belief that's ruining more good men than any other. Most men believe this. If I am consistent, kind, and available, she will feel safe, and safety creates love. That belief is half right, and the half that's wrong is the half that's quietly ending relationships everywhere. Here's the truth. Safety doesn't create attraction. Safety sustains attraction that already exists. If you skip the part where you build genuine desire and jump straight to providing comfort, you haven't built a relationship. You've built a really nice waiting room. Let's talk about reason 1. Predictability kills tension. Attraction, at a neurological level, is fed by uncertainty and novelty, small hits of dopamine that come from not fully knowing what happens next. When a man makes himself completely available, completely knowable, completely predictable from day one, he accidentally removes the exact ingredient that made her lean in to begin with. She's not bored because you're good to her. She's bored because there's nothing left to discover. Think about a woman who's dated you for 6 weeks. She already knows you'll answer within minutes. She already knows you have no plans without her. She already knows exactly how tonight ends. Where's the story her mind is trying to write? There isn't one. And the human brain, hers included, disengages from stories with no open questions. Reason 2. Overgiving triggers suspicion, not gratitude. This one confuses men the most because it feels backwards. But think about cognitive dissonance for a second, the discomfort we feel when two beliefs contradict each other. A woman's belief system tells her that value is earned, that people protect what's scarce. When a man gives enormous effort, attention, and emotional labor immediately, without her having done anything to earn it, part of her brain quietly asks, why is this so easy? What does he actually think he's worth? She's not consciously calculating this. It shows up as something softer, a loss of respect she can't quite name. And loss of respect, even small, is one of the fastest silent killers of female attraction. Reason 3. You became the emotional thermostat of the relationship. This connects to attachment theory. Somewhere along the way, a lot of good men learn that keeping the peace, managing her moods, and absorbing tension is what a good partner does, so they overcorrect. They apologize first, even when they didn't do anything wrong. They soften every disagreement before it becomes real. On the surface, this looks like emotional maturity. Underneath, it teaches her something dangerous, that she is the strong one in this dynamic, and you are the one who needs managing. Women are not attracted to men they feel responsible for. They're attracted to men they feel safe with, and those are not the same thing, even though they sound almost identical. Here's a real scenario. A man I'll call David did everything textbook good boyfriend, constant reassurance, zero conflict, always the first to say sorry. 6 months in, his girlfriend told him, almost apologetically, I don't know why, I just don't feel that spark anymore. She wasn't lying. She wasn't being cruel. Her nervous system had simply stopped registering him as someone to be won because he'd never made her work for anything, including his own opinions. Reason 4. He outsourced his identity to the relationship. The moment a man's entire sense of purpose, mood, and self-worth starts revolving around her, her texts, her approval, her mood that day, something shifts in how she experiences him. Ego protection is a real psychological mechanism, and it doesn't just apply to men. Women unconsciously protect themselves from merging with someone who has no gravitational pull of his own. If his whole world is her, there's nothing to be pulled toward. There's only something to hold up. Now. Reason 5. Pay close attention here, because this is the one that separates men who fix this permanently from men who keep repeating the same pattern with different women. Reason 5. He mistook explaining himself for connecting with her. Most self-improvement advice tells you to build confidence, set boundaries, have a purpose, all true. But almost nobody tells you this. Good men have a habit of over-explaining their intentions, their feelings, their decisions, believing that transparency equals intimacy. It doesn't. Over-explanation reads as anxiety. It signals that you need her to understand and approve of you before you feel secure in your own choice. And nothing deflates attraction faster than a man who needs permission to be who he already is. Now let's fix this. Not by becoming someone colder or crueler, by becoming someone with structure, direction, and self-respect underneath the kindness you already have. Step 1. Rebuild uncertainty on purpose. The action: stop being instantly available. Not as a manipulation tactic, as an honest reflection of a life that has its own momentum. Respond when it fits your day, not the second you see the notification. Keep plans that existed before she did. The psychology. This restores the open question her mind needs to stay engaged. You're not playing games. You're simply not organizing your entire life around her attention before she's earned that level of priority. The common mistake: men swing too far and go cold on purpose, which reads as manipulation, not confidence. The goal isn't distance. The goal is authentic unavailability, a full life she's invited into, not a performance designed to make her chase you. Step 2. Let her invest before you overgive. The action: match her effort instead of exceeding it in the early stages. If she suggests plans, plan the next one. If she reaches out first sometimes, don't always be the one initiating. The psychology: people value what costs them something. When she has to invest time, curiosity, a little effort, her brain assigns you worth. You're not withholding affection. You're giving her the chance to build the very respect that makes affection possible. The common mistake: men interpret match her effort as keeping score, which turns cold and petty fast. This isn't about punishment, it's about pacing, letting closeness build at a rate that actually means something to her nervous system. Step 3. Stop being the emotional thermostat and become the emotional floor. The action. When tension shows up, don't rush to smooth it over. Sit in it. Say what you actually think, even if it creates friction. Let disagreements exist without immediately apologizing them away. The psychology: a floor doesn't move when weight is placed on it. That stability, not constant agreement, is what nervous systems read as safety. You're teaching her without a single word that you don't need her to be okay for you to be okay. The common mistake: confusing not smoothing it over with picking fights or going silent to punish her. Real stability is calm, not cold. You're not creating conflict, you're simply not terrified of it. Step 4. Rebuild your own gravitational pull. The action. Identify one goal, one pursuit, one part of your life that exists completely independent of her, and protect it. Training, a craft, a career milestone, a friendship, anything real. The psychology. Ego protection works both ways. When you have something pulling you forward that isn't her, she's no longer holding you up. She's choosing to walk alongside someone already in motion. That's a fundamentally different dynamic, and it's the one that keeps women leaning in instead of pulling away. The common mistake: performing a passion for her benefit. She can tell. This has to be real, pursued whether she's watching or not. Step 5. The one tied to reason. 5. Stop explaining, start showing. The action: the next time you make a decision, how you spend your weekend, how you feel about something, a boundary you're setting, state it once, calmly, and let it stand. No follow-up paragraph justifying it. No anxious, "Does that make sense?" The psychology. Certainty is magnetic precisely because it's rare. When you stop needing her to approve of your choices before you feel okay about them, you stop outsourcing your self-worth to her reactions. And paradoxically, that's what makes her want to give you that approval anyway. The common mistake: mistaking silence for coldness. You can still be warm, still be affectionate, still tell her how you feel. You just stop justifying it like you're on trial. None of this makes you a worse man. It makes you a complete one. The kindness was never the problem. The absence of structure around it was. I know where you are right now. It's late, maybe, or it's the middle of your day, and you're only half paying attention because part of your mind is somewhere else. Replaying a conversation, checking if she's read your last message, wondering if you're overthinking, or if you're finally seeing clearly for the first time. That 3 a.m. spiral, the one where you rewrite what you should have said, where you question whether you're too much or not enough, that isn't weakness. That's a nervous system trying to solve an emotional problem with logic, and it doesn't work, because attraction was never a logic problem to begin with. Here's the reframe I want you to carry out of this video. The silence you're sitting in right now. The space where you're not texting first, not over-explaining, not managing her mood for her. That silence isn't emptiness. It's construction. Every time you resist the urge to chase reassurance, you're building the exact stability that makes you someone worth choosing. You're not losing ground by being patient. You're laying the foundation the whole thing has to stand on. This is not about becoming detached. It's not about playing it cool while secretly falling apart inside. It's about understanding that real security doesn't come from her response time. It comes from knowing you're a man with direction, with boundaries, with a life that doesn't collapse depending on what her next message says. The men who get this right aren't the ones who never feel the anxiety. They're the ones who feel it and don't let it drive. They let the discomfort sit there, unaddressed by a text, unsoothed by an explanation, and they let their actions, steady, unhurried, self-respecting, speak instead. That patience isn't passive. It's the most active thing you can do because it's the thing that actually rewires how you show up, not just in this relationship, but in everyone after it. Good men don't lose women because they were too kind. They lose women because they let their kindness replace their backbone. Fix that, and the kindness becomes irresistible instead of invisible. Carry that with you tonight. Not as pressure, as ground to stand on. If this hit something in you, hit subscribe, because I'm going to keep breaking down exactly how female psychology really works. No fluff, no cliches, just the truth most people are too afraid to say. And tell me in the comments, which of these 5 hit hardest for you? I read every single one.